Hey guys, if you're enjoying the content that I'm making, please click that subscribe button. Also remember to click that bell button and make sure to tick that box to send all notifications so you don't miss out on any videos. With that in mind, let's get on with the video. What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the lost chapter for Vanille, which is the last one at part 11. And of course, it's going to be in hard mode as well. Now, first off, I would like to apologize that this video is a bit late. I did promise to release these videos one day at a time, but unfortunately, it was my birthday on Friday. So, I got a surprise from my partner that we were going to be staying at the Crown Hotel for the weekend, so that's why this is late. I did try to bring my laptop and I did try to edit the video there. Unfortunately, I forgot my mic, or a mic at least, so that's why this is quite late. But in any case, let's get on with the video. Let's start off with the tips and the general guide for this fight. Okay, so the first thing that I want to tell you guys, as always, is to try and limit your ability usage. This is very important because this is going to be one of the longest fights that you will have to do, and I'm not kidding on that remark as well. So try to limit your usage ability, and of course, again, bring support characters that have good synergy with your team. Taking another Vanille is an option, especially a good one with the Dispel ability that can give you a good battery, which means they have to have the 35 CP weapon. Vincent can help as well as one of the other options that you can have, because and especially if he has his 35 CP weapon as well, then you can definitely use Vincent. And Titus is another option, which is a DPS plus a debuffer as well. And obviously, bringing your boosted characters for your team. Vanille, Hope, and Yuna are all the boosted characters. Again, Vincent is useful if you have his 35 CP weapon. Aiko, Aerith, and Penelo, and I didn't forget this time, are helpful with the heals as well. The last thing that I do want to note is to bring magic-based characters, because the boss has a resistance to melee and physical range attacks. And this is all the normal attacks, by the way. And if you don't have a decent magic attacking characters, as long as their abilities are magic-based, I think you should be fine. But if it runs out, you will have a problem. In this particular fight, I did bring Vincent, Aiko, and Vanille. I did bring Titus as my support character, but I could have gone with Lightning as well, but I mean, it's just a matter of choice. I did bring Lightning here a few times as part of my team. However, I felt like I really need the extra heals from Aiko, and the Brave Battery that she brings is very, very good, and combination with Vanille as well is a very good Brave Battery in order for me not to get broken by the flurry from the Berserker armor. And I think that's it for the general tips and guide. Let's go with this fight by wave by wave. Okay, the first wave is where you're going to be fighting 2 Goblin Mages and 1 Bomb. Now, this is pretty easy if you do have a very good DPS characters in your team. In my team composition, unfortunately, is not a very good DPS team. That's why I went with Smite straight away and tried to take down the at least one of the mobs as fast as I can. Now, having Aiko's 15 CP weapon maxed out helps here as well, because it is a lot of buffs for your characters, and of course the HP regen is always nice here. So, and I think you should be fine in this particular fight. Unfortunately, there might be occasions that they will use strike and you will take HP damage, and that is the whole reason why you have a healer on your team. But if you don't, make sure you have a very good DPS team. And I think that's it for the first wave. The second wave is basically a ghost and a bomb, pretty easy, and I think I'll just skip over this wave. Okay, wave 3 is probably where you're gonna have a lot of problems, especially with my own party compositions. This took me forever to take down, and I was really scared that I will go over the max limit of turns that you can have, and I do believe it is like 170 turns. And if you go over that, you won't be able to get one of the mission lists. Anyway, the Marlboro will start off with bad breath every single time, and here's the kicker here. If you do have Yuna here, this fight will be pretty easy as long as you do have her Astral Rod. I'd like to say it's Astral Rod, which is the one that makes her Isuna ability, I do believe, like a party-wide remover of debuffs, or debuff remover. Because normally the Asuna will give you a brave battery for everyone, but will only remove the debuff for one of your characters. And I do believe that if you have her 15 CP weapon Astral Rod, that you should be able to heal through or remove the debuffs from every single party members, and this will make this fight a whole lot easier. But if you don't plan on bringing Yuna, or if you don't have the Astral Rod with you, then I would suggest that you pray to the gods and make sure you don't hit with those blind while being blind. So yeah, I think out of every single debuff that you will receive, blind is the most annoying one, and you need a lot of luck. I had to restart quite a few times with this fight because blind was just killing me. And yeah, you do need a lot of luck with this fight. And yeah, that's all I can really say about wave 3, guys, because it's either you have Yuna and remove the debuffs, or you don't, and you have to just pray that you do hit the boss. Anyway, let's go to wave number 4. Okay, wave number 4 is where you're gonna be taking down 3 of the ghosts. This can be a little bit tricky in a sense that if you don't kill them fast enough, they were gonna start using like dread, which is they're gonna give some more brave to the other ghosts, which can be a little bit dangerous. So what I did here was basically use Smite, or if you have Vanille, you can use the spell. If you have her 35 CP weapon, that way everyone will get the brave battery from that. But I wouldn't really recommend using the spell. But if you have no other choice, if you're having problems with this wave, then I suggest that you go ahead and use it. Once they're down to 2, it's a little bit more manageable. But if you are trying to kill them off with like 3 of them at the same time, it's just very difficult to pull off. But anyway, once you take that down, you go to the final wave. Okay, so the 5th wave is where we're gonna be taking down 2 of the Berserker armors. They are both level 70, and man, they are really difficult. You think the Magic Chasm was hard with the Berserker? I do believe was it a Heretic Berserker armor that was difficult, and this is just probably on that level. So a lot of people are probably having a hard time with this. You need a little bit of luck to actually beat this fight, and what I mean by that is getting all the missions at the same time as well. But if you're struggling, like I said before, if you're struggling to get all of the missions all in one go, then I suggest you just take it one by one, and you'll still get the rewards eventually. But like, you know, if you want to grab them all at the same time like I do, then you will need a bit of luck. I've been stuck on this one for quite a while, and I only really considered doing it again once I finally got Aiko and her 35 CP weapon. But in any case, let's go over the Berserker armor's weaknesses, resistances, and abilities. So first off, it does have a resistance to melee and range physical attacks. It doesn't have any weakness, which is annoying. As for its ability, it has its normal Brave attack, which is a melee Brave attack, Leaping Swing, which is its melee HP attack, and the Flurry, of course, which is a random 4-hit group, melee Brave attack, Berserk, which grants itself Berserk to itself, and Haste, which grants speed up to its target. Now, as far as I'm aware, the Berserker armor does not use Flurry unless it is in the Berserk state. I can't remember from the top of my head if, for example, it's about to use its Flurry attack while it's in Berserk, and then you dispel the Berserk status, if it will still continue to use the Flurry attack. I do believe, for whatever reason in my memory, since I've been trying this fight for quite a while, a few months ago, I just can't remember if it actually did the Flurry attack. So what I want to hear from you guys, if you have experienced the Berserker armor actually use Flurry while not on its Berserk state. But as far as I know, from experience from the last few weeks, I suppose, it hasn't used Flurry at all when I took the Berserk Berserk status off it. Now, let's go over some general tips and guides for the actual last fight. Okay, the first tip that I do have is, of course, taking down one of the Berserker armor as quick as you can. It is quite possible to bring both of their HP down to a certain point and then kill them off one by one after that. Now, I have seen videos of people actually doing this, and for the most part, I feel like you will not deal with like Berserk until a certain amount of HP. I do believe it'll be like somewhere near where it's red HP already, but I don't really want to recommend this because you may have to be dealing with like 2 haste Berserker armors, which is probably not something you want to deal with, to be honest. So it is up to you guys. It is quite possible to do it, and if you are bringing Vanille, and I think this option is only available if you actually bring Vanille, and because you can dispel the Berserk and haste buffs. So if you don't, you'll be dealing with like 2 Berserker armors that might do Flurry, you know, one after the other, and you won't have any sort of abilities to deal with that. I mean, you can sort of like maybe debuff them to a certain extent, but that's still pretty scary, to be honest with you guys. So I would suggest just take one of them one by one. Unless you have Vanille, then you can probably like dispel one of them and then dispel the other one as well. It's like good Brave battery at the same time. But I mean, I've only seen a few videos that actually tried to do that. I would just suggest just take him down one by one. Now the next one is to bring a good healer battery character to save yourself from the Berserk Flurry combo. Now you will know when the Flurry is coming. Usually it'll either be an all attack if it does use it outside of the Berserk state, but during Berserk, when it is in Berserk state, you can just dispel the Berserk, and then you will know what sort of attack it will do next. If for whatever reason that you're not able to dispel the berserk state, then the only other option is to make sure you have enough brave for the flurry. I would be really careful here because you don't know what sort of attack it will do, because it'll be a question mark when it's on berserk. So using your HP attack can be a double-edged sword. Either you be really careful with it or go ham with it. And what I mean by that is, if you do plan to go ham on it, is you should, in the next few turns that you will be able to bring down the brave that it will gain from all the flurry. I would just say that if it uses flurry, just the worst case scenario, it'll be at max brave, which I can't think of the top of my head. I want to say it's like 1500 brave is its total max brave, and you can just you will have to burst it down really well. And unfortunately, I don't think there's actually any like magic based characters that are very strong DPS wise, and the only one I can think of is Papalymo. And unfortunately, you can't even use Papalymo's take advantage of his elemental abilities, because the berserker armor doesn't have any weaknesses. As for my third tip, is basically to limit the damage of flurry. You can inflict it with damage down debuff. So if you don't have Vanille to remove the berserk buff, Titus, Vincent, and I do believe Seymour can bring down its attack, and that way you'll take less damage from brave damage from flurry. And for the last one, if you do plan on bringing Vanille, you make sure to actually save her dispel ability during berserks only. So if it uses haste, you should be able to live through that. But if it starts using haste and then it'll use berserk, definitely use your dispel ability. If it uses berserk straight away, I would use dispel straight away. It's just that one of those things that I feel like you'll benefit from removing berserk instead of haste, because with haste you can deal with that, but berserk is a little bit annoying to deal with. But anyway guys, I think that's it for this video. Remember to click like, subscribe, and share this video if you find it helpful at all. As always, I'd like to hear from you guys what you think of this fight, and who do you plan on bringing, or if you've already down this fight, who did you bring as for your team, because I'm quite interested on what other different party compositions that you can actually bring to defeat this fight. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter and on Facebook at Munchkins Gaming. This is Munchkins logging off, and I'll see you guys in the next level.